Alright guys, hello and welcome back to the Top Experts League game number 2 between Slam and Mr. Yo in this best of 7. Over to the right of the map in the blue we have got Slam and he is playing as the Huns, and over to the far left of the map in the red we have got Mr. Yo playing as the Huns as well. So game number 2 will also be an Arabia Hun war, but that's not too bad. I mean, let's be honest, that last game was pretty exciting and Slam played very, very well. Obviously, this map is the loser's home map, so Mr. Yo has chosen to play on Arabia once more. These civs, as far as I'm aware, are actually done by hidden civs, so the players choose what civ they have before the game starts going into it, I think, something like that. They have to tell them what map they want before they start, and then they choose the civ, which is hidden from the opponent. So both of them did choose to play with the Huns, and this, of course, is Mr. Yo's home map. So I think Mr. Yo feels a little bit bitter about that loss last game. I think he felt like he could have had a chance, and indeed he did have a chance with that forward. It just didn't happen for him, and he wants his comeuppance, he wants his rematch, and he wants to take a game back from the other dude, Slam, who won. Yes, because it's 1-0. Alright, so we'll take a look at their maps and see what it's all about. Let's have a look. Slam's map, again, pretty meh. I mean, I wouldn't say that was fantastic. His wood, horrible location. It's right on the end of this tree line, and you know, if you are going to be putting a lumber camp down, you really want a long tree line and a thick tree line. The longer and the thicker it is, the better. That's how they like it, long and thick. Yeah. Oh dearie me. But obviously, like this, it is kind of annoying because you're going to have to replenish your lumber camp a little faster. The villagers are going to be walking around the side to get to this tree, and they're going to end up walking all the way around, and it just means you have to micro your wood villages a little bit more, and that's never a good thing. So the wood for Slam really kind of, he doesn't have any options. He has to put his wood lumber camp here. He can't put it here because the berries are blocking it, and putting it back here would just be a little bit too far away, really. So I think for Slam, his map's not fantastic, but he's got a reasonable wall on this left-hand side. I mean, he could wall out here if he wants to, but again, it's, like I say, not perfect. This gold is, again, on the front, which is not great, not great. So sheep for Slam, which haven't been found yet. I'm surprised he's not found the sheep yet. He's deciding obviously to push the deer in instead, which is all fine, all well and good, but obviously finding those sheep is also going to be very important. And it seems like Slam did this last game as well. He spent that first few minutes of scouting time obviously finding his initial resources, but then luring the deer in straight away, or 1 or 2 deer, just to get a little bit of a food boost. Obviously, Slam now will look for the rest of his sheep, and he's just out of sight of them. He's, what, 1 tile away from finding the sheep there, which is rather unfortunate, but it looks like he will find them eventually. He's not probably going to leave until he does, because they're going to be so important to him. So we'll have a look at Mr. Yo's map, see what he's got to deal with this game. And again, looking pretty open on the front for him. But hey, this is Arabia, what did we expect? However, his goal, perhaps a little bit easier to secure. Wall across here, and then take gold at the back, and obviously maybe wall across the front to keep that safe by making a choke between his town centre. Left side, his wood's not too bad. Obviously, any archers coming in from this side would have an attack advantage going downhill like we spoke about last time, but because it's on the side, not at the front, and because it's a decent looking wood, I'd probably say that was a little bit of a better wood than Slam. Obviously, Mr. Yo could wall across here towards the TC once again to make a choke point, and then wall the backside if he wants to as well. Back stone, which is useful, and a back gold as well here, which is nice for Mr. Yo, because if this gold or this gold is lost, then he can always move back here. But really, I think having your golds all split up, not split up like this, having them all kind of very close together is often not a good thing, because if you lose access to one, you're probably going to lose access to the other two as well. For instance, let's just say in the purely fluky situation, in the very unrealistic situation that Slam puts a castle here, which is never going to happen, but if he does put a castle here, if he were to put a castle or even a tower here, Yo would lose access to all of these golds at once. Whereas if you look at Slam's base, if he loses this gold, he could move back here if he really needs to, if he's that desperate for gold. This one's a little bit out of the way. But like I say, having your gold a little bit more split up, probably better overall for you. So yeah, Slam going to put up his second lumber camp now, and we're not going to see a rush at all. Neither of them going to go with that option. We're going to see an interesting option by Mr. Yo. He's actually... Right, this is going to be a bit weird by the looks of things. He's putting up a barracks now already, and he's sending some villagers over to gold fairly early, but I think... Okay, we may see him send some militia over during the upgrade to feudal. If he does that, that would be really weird, but it could be that way. I mean, there would be no other reason for him to put the barracks up. Yeah, he's going to send some militia over in the early feudal, and maybe do that man-at-arms sort of upgrade strategy that we've seen a couple of times in the past, actually. I mean, this could work out really well for him if he sends a couple of villagers to support it and maybe do a forward. I don't know if Mr. Yo is going to risk doing a forward again, because he kind of went for the forward last time and it didn't work out. So whether he'll want to do it this time again, I don't know. But let's see if Slam's seen that barracks. It doesn't look like he has, but he has found the main gold of Mr. Yo, so he does know exactly where he is. And for now, I think he's found, yeah, he did find those sheep as well, which is, oh no, he's not, he's still not found those sheep, he's still missing those sheep, which is actually really unfortunate for Slam, because you will want all of the food you can possibly get if you're going to go for a scout rush or something like that. And I think we may just see a scout rush from Slam here, because that's works out well in a lot of Arabia games. However, we will see. We've got this forward coming in then from Mr. Yo. 3 villagers, 3 militia. Not quite as... yeah, still three villagers. I thought there was a 4th at the back. But no, 3 villagers, 3 militia. Not quite as all in as last time, but Mr. Yo really wants to put this forward off. So there's the stable down for Slam. He's going to do horse collar straight away. And that, of course, is going to make him get a little bit more, squeeze a little bit more food out of his farms. You know, getting that upgrade done is so important, and look at that, horse collar done just as the farms are going to complete. Slam's got his timing down to a T, and I think this kind of strategy was actually popularized by Hassan more than anyone else. I may be wrong with that, but I think that Hassan was the one who kind of did that horse collar strat and made that popular, and now we've got Slam copying it, well, maybe not copying it, but taking inspiration perhaps from it. So Slam with a spearman. Now the problem for Slam here, he's not really got much scout information. He doesn't really know what's going on behind the fog of war there. He doesn't see any military buildings from Yo, so no ideas whatsoever. And there's the man-at-arms upgrade from Yo as well. Totes get in this one. And I think Mr. Yo could get a good amount of damage here. The thing about man-at-arms is that they are fantastic at dealing with scouts quite early on. Now, I know the scouts are faster, they outmaneuver them, but if you're the aggressor, you're the one dictating where the fight's going to be. So Mr. Yo here may just decide to go for it and fight this one out. He should probably bring his scout in, though, for that little bit of extra firepower. But the man-at-arms, I don't know if they're going to do enough damage, actually. They are getting focused down very quickly, and now Mr. Yo is on the run. Jeez, that was bad. That was very bad. I don't know why he decided to stay in with those there. I thought he would just fight a little bit with his scout as well and then go back. But then once we started seeing those scouts coming in from Slam and all the villagers getting involved, that really backfired for Mr. Yo. So Mr. Yo on the right side at the same time, getting up a watchtower, and that's going to obviously disrupt this wood camp. It's going to obviously force Slam away, but Slam's defended from those men-at-arms very well, and it's put him in the score lead at the moment as well, which is good for him. But I see a kind of similarity to the last game here, where Mr. Yo left his own base very unprotected. Slam defended with all his might, defended well, and then ended up pulling it off. But look at this, Mr. Yo is really kicking himself in the foot. He had this tower, he walled it off so that Slam couldn't get to it, and then he ended up losing a villager because his villagers were unable to garrison back in the tower without deleting the palisade. So I think really that this is looking again a little bit concerning for Mr. Yo now. But Mr. Yo, with this tower behind the archery range he's putting up, is definitely going to buy him a little bit of safety. It's going to mean that Slam can't easily wall this up like he did in the last game. But yeah, Slam with the advantage at the moment. We've got a watchtower going up on this gold, and Slam finally found his sheep as well, which is fantastic stuff. So Slam now heading over across the map. He's got these 5 scouts going over to a relatively unprotected Mr. Yo's base. We've got 1 spearman, 2 spearmen from Mr. Yo, and I don't know if that's going to be enough, actually. I mean, these villages are safe behind the palisade here. That's not a problem. Question is, will the spearmen be able to defend, or will Slam out micro that? We'll have to wait and see. So Mr. Yo on the right side, putting up another archery range now, and we're not really seeing any reaction to this from Slam at all. We're finally just seeing an archery range for Slam, but not even started construction on that yet, and Slam focusing his attention at the moment on avoiding these spearmen at the back of Mr. Yo's base. So obviously walling up not entirely necessary when your opponent has scouts, but once they have archers on the map, they become a little bit more deadly, and the walls are definitely required much more at that point in time. Against the scout rush, it's fairly easy to defend with 1 or 2 spears, like we saw there. But as I say, once your opponent starts getting archers out, it becomes a whole different story. Fortunately for Mr. Yo, he's kind of hoping that the archers will be staying inside of Slam's base and not heading out to his own, because that's where he really wants to force the fight now. He wants to force the fight here and not over here, where he's very undefended in comparison. So Blacksmith for Mr. Yo as well. Second range going up for Slam, which is arguably delayed in comparison, but then again, Slam did make a stable a little earlier on as well. You guys in the chat talking about dry dock. I've not really been reading your messages too much. I should probably pay a little bit more attention to that now I have it on the screen. But yeah, I like the fact that, as you say there, Harper, he's just trying different stuff out and straying away from the meta game, which I've been really, complaining a lot about recently. I've just been bashing players left, right, and center for playing so rigidly in the meta game. But hey, this is a nice game so far, and Mr. Yo could really make something out of this. He's still got these villagers over here, and they're going to take these deer as well, just to make the most he can out of the villager gather time. I do think, though, that Slam's put his towers up in a very clever position. Obviously, the gold here is not too far from the town centre. But against this forward, he kind of felt the need, I think, to put this tower up anyway, because he wouldn't be able to wall off against this now. So this tower's in a good place, and also towering on the left, again, in a great position. It's going to have enough range to attack the archers, but it's also going to be on the hill. So once again, hill bonuses for days. And again, on this wood, he will get a tower up here, and he will have, once again, another hill bonus to take advantage of. If he can keep his villagers safe, though, that's the question. Will he be able to do that? Mr. Yo not going to chase the villagers down, not going to sit under that watchtower and try and pick them off. He will just run and take a little bit of damage on his way out. And so far, Mr. Yo not actually been able to do a whole lot of damage at all. We'll have a quick look at the military score. 7 kills to 2 losses for Slam at the moment, and that's a really, really good ratio for him. Mr. Yo, of course, trying to pick off some villagers of his own, but Slam just slipping out of range time and time again as he continues to, well, basically just corner Mr. Yo now. Mr. Yo's going to get absolutely cleaned up here. There's no question about it. Both of them with +1 defense, but these scouts getting in there going to do huge damage. And Mr. Yo going to be unsuccessful once again at killing a single villager. This kill to death ratio is insane now. What's this going to be? 15 to 4? That's mad. At the same time, population-wise, they are pretty much even on villagers. They are both on 36 right now. Mr. Yo with a slight lead there, but almost double the military count for Slam at the moment. And Slam just comfortably sitting around and defending himself from any attack that Yo sends his way. So yeah, I think these archery ranges here being a lot less effective than Mr. Yo would have liked. The only real damage that Mr. Yo has managed to do with this forward so far is just denying this wood, and that's really not a huge amount of a sacrifice to pay for Slam, really. I mean, he's still managed to hold this off very nicely, and now he's just going to send a counter straight out and just basically ignore this forward entirely and send his counter straight at Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo still hasn't walled, and this is what I was saying earlier on. This is now an issue for Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo going to tower up very quickly here. Fortunately, I think he's going to have enough time to get these towers up. It looks to me like those towers will go up in time for the archers to get over there. But yeah, I mean, this is, again, going to be a difficult situation for Mr. Yo now, because he needs to wall quickly to defend from the archers, because they are going to start picking off villagers very, very quickly indeed. So we will see you later. Who's going? Spencer. Spencer, see you later, man. Thanks for tuning in. Slam coming in, though. And, well, these watchtowers are very well placed, actually. We'll give him that. I mean, between the watchtowers and the TC, there's no easy way to walk straight in here. However, left side is still open, and Slam wants to come over here anyway because he's going to be on top of the hill this way. So, going to come around this left side, going to bear down on this wood line by the looks of things, and that could be a little bit of a problem for Mr. Yo. Could really disrupt his economy, and he's not really got another option for wood at the moment. He could come over here on the right side, but again, that's going to be quite a big cost to pay, even a price to pay. That's what I'm trying to say. My god, I cannot get my words out this evening. It's not good. Slam, though, looks like he's on the way to Castle Age. He is indeed. 4 ranges. He will be going for Cavalry Archer in this game. We can be 100% sure of that one. And well, Mr. Yo also up to Castle, and it looks like he will maybe be going for archers, crossbows as well, and then of course into cavalry archers. I didn't notice this attack back here though. Mr. Yo may have killed a couple of units there. We'll quickly check. Looks like he's, yeah, kind of brought it back a little bit, not much, a little bit. 19 kills and 7 losses for Slam. He's still way, way ahead in that respect. And Slam now taking over the back of Mr. Yo's base quite comfortably. Mr. Yo sticking up that tower on the left-hand side. And, yes, Augustus Caesar rooting for Slam, obviously, being a Canadian himself. Smearing that maple syrup all over his, yeah, all over his game, sure. All over his monitor screen, that's the one. He's got maple syrup vision. It gives him +10 micro ability. So, Mr. Yo surprisingly getting cleaned up again in the back of Slam's base. I don't know how Mr. Yo is losing these fights. He really should be on the ball a little bit more here, and he's getting cleaned up pretty quickly, to be honest with you. It really is. At the back of Mr. Yo's base, Slam's still here, still gonna have his skirms, still got his archers. Of course, he's gonna be upgrading crossbow as well, and maybe we'll see the skirmisher upgrade, the elite skirmisher upgrade, because he's got quite a few skirmishers in here. I mean, what's that, 7, 8 skirmishers? That's worth the upgrade in my opinion, especially when dealing with tower fire, because they will obviously soak up a lot of that arrow fire very comfortably. Mr. Yo, where's his army? Doesn't look like he's got one, does it? I keep looking at the wrong thing. So we're looking at population. Where is it? There we go. 0 military for Mr. Yo, 28 military for Slam. And this is falling apart at the seams for Mr. Yo. He is just struggling. He really is. I mean, where's the military from Mr. Yo? Every time he's managed to get a few units out, they've been cleaned up. He's on 39 population compared to the 68 of Slam at this stage. And I honestly don't know what's happened to Mr. Yo here, because Mr. Yo has been playing fantastically well recently. But this is really messy from him, and he's just not getting that military production really that he needs. He's starting now on some knights. Interesting choice. Probably gonna clean up this army, but again, losing so much. Villagers running back to the TC, and Slam just gonna, even if he loses these units now, what does it matter? He's done so much damage back here. We're looking at 41 villagers for Slam to the 38 of Mr. Yo. Not a huge difference, but Mr. Yo, again, just with such a small army in comparison. And these upgrades for Slam continuing to come in. +2 attack, +1 defense versus the +1 defense of Mr. Yo's Knights and Bloodlines. And I'm starting to wonder what Mr. Yo is going to do to try and bring this one back. Against cavalry archers, it's going to be tough now because Slam has got the edge. We know he's got the edge. He's going to have that massive cavalry archers up that he needs to deal with the knights from Yo. Yo's getting out of Mangonel, which is a good choice. Obviously, a Mangonel not that effective against cavalry archers because the Mangonel will not one-shot them like it will a crossbowman. But at least it's going to do a good amount of damage if it manages to get a hit. Will Slam's micro be good enough to prevent that from happening? Well, we'll have to wait and see. I'm kind of hoping that Mr. Yo's got a second Mangonel on the way soon, because this is going to be very messy if he doesn't have cavalry archers coming in. I'm going to try and pick off a couple of villagers on this gold. One. Ooh, nearly getting another one there. Just getting out of the way. Of course, no ballistics yet. It's way too early for that. But Slam coming in now. He's got crossbows behind this to follow it up. And if Slam sits on this hill and fires at these knights and micros back like this, he will take them down very easily. There's way too many units there for Mr. Yo to deal with. And like I said in the last game, this is where it becomes very dicey, because going knights is either very effective early on, or you end up getting outmassed and they just die instantly before they're able to do any damage. Of course, at the moment, a big problem here for Mr. Yo is that he doesn't have +2 defense. He's going against +2 attack cavalry archers, and this is a real problem. So Mr. Yo losing that Mangonel pretty quickly, doing a lot of damage to the cavalry archers there though, but again, Slam just taking full advantage of that hill, and those knights will not be able to push into this at all. There's no chance whatsoever. Mr. Yo, on the other hand, starting to get up some elite skirms from these archery ranges on the right hand side, which is certainly nice, but this is just too strong from Slam at the back here, and Slam's now got an 11 villager lead because he's got up his second TC and his third TC versus Mr. Yo's one town centre. Mr. Yo opting, of course, for the siege workshop rather than a second TC. And at the moment as well, Mr. Yo can't take any stone, which means even if he has got the wood, which he has, he can't afford to put that town centre down, and that is a big problem. Also, Mr. Yo having to make the skirmishes in Slam's base and then send them back across the map to deal with Slam's army. Just look at the mini-map now. Slam's army split into two very potent balls of death at the moment, and he's just going to get into this woodline. This has to be GG from Yo now. I don't see how he's going to bring this one back. He is completely outnumbered. He can't sit under his watchtowers all day long and hope to win this game. He's just going to get raided time after time after time, and he's even now building a market to buy some stone so he can actually put up a second TC. That's what I'm assuming he's going to do anyway. Though saying that he can't afford to buy any stone because he just made some more units or some upgrade or something like that. I don't know what he's doing. Elite Skirmisher, though, is definitely a good call. It's going to help him out in this situation, that's for sure. But at the same time, he's still outnumbered, and he's still going to have to send them all the way back from here every time he wants to reinforce his own base. And now, more villagers going down in this woodline. This is just messy. This is so messy for Yo. Slam is walking all over him, and I would not be surprised if we see the GG in just a moment's time. He really wants to get that stone here as well, but it's just not happening at the moment. And as well as that, yeah, Slam still able to hit this woodline comfortably. Mr. Yo losing tons of villagers in this woodline, and he's reluctant to move them as well. So we've got a TC up here on the right side for Mr. Yo. He definitely bought the stone for that one because it didn't go. Oh, maybe he didn't actually. Maybe he didn't. I should probably have watched that a little bit closer. But yeah, that's second TC going up, but look at the difference in time. Second TC for Yo, whilst Slam's already got his third up and running. And we'll look at the population count here. 70 villagers to 40, but that's almost double the villager count for Slam. And Slam not even bothering with the siege workshop at the moment. I mean, why should he? He's got no reason to worry about that. He's got such a huge lead. He can comfortably just boom up at home and leave it at that. I mean, he could just play passively for the rest of the game and probably win now. Obviously not, but I mean, a siege workshop from Slam on the front would be a good addition if he wants to end this game quickly, because it doesn't seem like Mr. Yo wants to give it up anytime soon. I don't blame him. There is £1,000 or $1,000 prize pool in this tournament, so it's fair enough that Mr. Yo is going to want to hang on for the very last moment that he can. But yeah, there is very little coming back from this. It's, again, still nearly double the population of villagers. Over double the population in total of Yo. Slam is just... He's got this game. He really has. Castle from Slam here on the right-hand side as well. And this is nice because he's going to take down this tower. He's going to reclaim his wood. He's going to take down this archery range and the blacksmith. And probably won't take down that archery range because it's a bit too close. But yes, this forward is going to get cleaned up in time. And that is going to be no good at all. We've got another TC going up on this right-hand side. The addition of the Knights from Slam, perfect for this. They're going to massacre these elite skirmishers here as Mr. Yo runs back, unable to finish that town center off. And this massive cavalry archers comes in as Mr. Yo resigns. He sees that, and he sees that he cannot pull that one back at all. So there we go. A very syrupy, a very mapley victory for Slam, making it 2-0 in this series so far, in this best of 7 series. And Slam is on form, let's be honest. That was a very good play by him indeed. And he did a fantastic job of actually dealing with this forward incredibly well. I mean, he kind of just ignored it, almost. You know, he just dealt with it and sent a counter out to Mr. Yo straight away. Mr. Yo just couldn't defend well enough, losing villagers over time and losing map control as he did so. And I mean, I got that strategy at the start, right? I've seen it before. The militias coming out as you upgrade to the feudal age, the man-at-arms upgrade coming in just as you upgrade. But Mr. Yo didn't make that happen. He did the upgrade, he spent the food on those militia, he spent the food on that man-at-arms upgrade, and then he just lost it. He did no damage with that at all. I don't think he killed a single villager. And the way that Slam dealt with that basically put him into the lead. At that point, he was able to keep that lead, and Mr. Yo never came back from it. So anyway, we're going to come back out, and we're going to go to Game 3 in just a moment's time.